Stop scrolling for a second and really listen, because what I am about to reveal is the difference between being a maybe and becoming an absolute must. Think about the last time you reached out to a woman you were genuinely excited about. You probably worried about your hair, wondered if your car was clean enough, or checked your bank balance to see if you could afford the right kind of date. You have been told your whole life that attraction is a math equation involving your status, your muscles, and your money. But here is the cold, hard truth that most men will never figure out. While those things might get you a look, they will never win her mind. You are playing a losing game if you think external vanity is your only leverage. The real battlefield is not the gym or the office. It is the psychological space you occupy in her head after you finish speaking. Imagine having the power to say one single sentence, just one, that makes her heart race and keeps you stuck in her thoughts for days on end. Picture her sitting at dinner with her friends or lying in bed at night, and she cannot stop replaying the specific way you looked at her and the words you chose to say. That is the one-sentence edge. It is the ability to instantly separate yourself from the hundreds of other men clogging up her inbox with good morning texts and generic comments. Most guys are background noise. They are the static on the radio that she has learned to tune out. By understanding the psychology of how women actually process attraction, you stop being static and start becoming the signal. You are not just talking to her. You are impacting her. The reality is that women are looking for a man who possesses a certain type of groundedness, a man who does not need to bark to show his bite. When you speak with purpose, you signal that you are a high-value individual who notices the things other men are too distracted or too insecure to see. Most men are so busy trying to prove they are the man that they forget to actually connect. The philosopher Seneca wrote that speech as the mirror of the mind. When you speak without intention, you are revealing a mind that is scattered, anxious, and desperate for approval. But when you speak with purpose, when every word carries weight, you reveal a mind that is settled, confident, and unshakable. And that is what she will remember long after the conversation ends. Let us be completely honest with each other. If you truly had the power to say one thing that a woman would remember for years, would you really waste that opportunity on a lazy comment like, "You look nice," or "That is a cool dress"? If that is your go-to move, you are effectively telling her that you are exactly like every other guy she has met since high school. That is the definition of being forgettable. Basic compliments are like junk food. They might give a tiny temporary spark of validation, but they leave her completely empty afterward. They require zero effort, zero observation, and zero intention. When you tell a woman she is hot, you are not complimenting her. You are just stating an obvious fact that she hears 10 times a day from strangers on the street. It does not move the needle because it does not touch her emotions. Attraction is not built on surface-level observations. It is built entirely on emotional impact. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, who wrote extensively on human nature, observed that women are masters of illusion, but they are also deeply attuned to authenticity. When you deliver a compliment that is genuine and specific, you are offering her something rare, and rarity creates value. To win, you have to understand the depth of the basic compliment. This is the moment you decide to stop being a fan and start being a peer. When you deliver a powerful, intentional compliment that hits a specific psychological trigger, you will literally see her entire energy shift in real time. It is almost like watching a physical transformation. Her posture changes as she leans in toward you. Her eyes soften because she feels safe and understood. Her attention locks onto you because you have finally given her something real to hold on to. You are no longer just a guy she is talking to. You are a man who actually sees her. I have spent a long time narrowing this down to 8 high-impact triggers that go deeper than anything she is used to hearing. These are not pickup lines designed to trick someone. Those are for men who lack substance. What I am giving you are respect-based emotional triggers. They work because they acknowledge her identity, her energy, and her mind. They require you to be present and to speak with a level of intention that most men are simply too lazy to develop. The philosopher Epictetus taught that we should not seek to have events happen as we wish, but to wish them to happen as they do happen. When you deliver a compliment, you are not trying to control her response. You are simply offering a truth that you have observed. And that truth, when it is genuine, has the power to create a connection that no amount of effort could manufacture. The first trigger is acknowledging her scent in a way that is specific and memorable. Most men think that if they want to compliment a woman's fragrance, they have to be over the top or borderline creepy. They will say something like, "You smell good," which is generic and forgettable. But when you use the word addictive, you are stepping into the realm of biological psychology. Scent is the only sense with a direct line to the olfactory bulb, which is physically connected to the amygdala and hippocampus, the parts of the brain that handle emotion and memory. When you notice her fragrance and label it as addictive, you are not just giving her a thumbs up. You are creating a memory anchor. You are telling her brain that your presence and her scent are now linked by a feeling of intense desire. The key here is the delivery. You do not lean in aggressively. You say it calmly, almost as an afterthought, showing that you are a man of high-level awareness who is present enough to notice the subtle details. She will not just remember the compliment. Her subconscious will literally associate the high of that addictive feeling with you every time she puts that perfume on. You have just turned her morning routine into a reminder of how you made her feel. The second trigger is acknowledging her power. This is a massive level up because you are moving away from her physical features and focusing on her influence. Any guy can tell her she has a pretty smile. She has heard that since she was 5 years old. It is white noise to her. But when you tell her that her smile shifts the energy of the room, you are acknowledging her aura. You are telling her that she has the ability to change the mood of the people around her just by existing. This shows incredible emotional intelligence on your part. It proves that you are not just looking at her face like a piece of art on a wall. You are feeling her impact. A man who notices energy is a man who understands the nuances of women and social dynamics. It signals that you are observant, grounded, and attuned to the vibe rather than just the visual. When she hears this, she does not just feel beautiful. She feels significant. You have recognized a strength in her that most men are too blind to even see, and that makes you instantly more magnetic. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote that there is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness. When you compliment her energy, you are appealing to the reason within the madness. You are showing her that you are not just another man swept away by her appearance. You are a man who sees the force behind the facade. The third trigger is validating her authenticity. We are living in an era dominated by filters, curated social media feeds, and fake personalities. Most women feel an immense pressure to perform or fit into a specific mold to be seen as valuable. When you stop her and tell her that you respect her authenticity, you are offering her the rarest gift in modern dating, the permission to be herself. By validating her truth over her appearance, you are hitting a deep psychological need to be understood. You are saying, "I see the person behind the mask, and that is the part I actually like." This creates an instant emotional bond because it makes her feel safe. While every other guy is trying to win over the perfect version of her, you are appreciating the real version. Authenticity will always be more attractive than perfection, and a man who values character over a curated image is a man she can actually trust. The philosopher Albert Camus, who wrote extensively on the human condition, observed that the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that one's very existence is an act of rebellion. When you validate her authenticity, you are giving her permission to rebel against the pressure to perform. And that rebellion is deeply attractive because it is a rebellion she has been longing to join. The fourth trigger is acknowledging her perspective. This is your secret weapon for entering rare territory. Most men are so preoccupied with how a woman looks that they completely ignore who she is. They chase the body and ignore the mind. When you tell her that her perspective actually influences your own thoughts, you are giving her a massive boost of intellectual validation. You are telling her that she is not just eye candy. She is a person of value who has the power to intrigue you. This shifts the entire dynamic of the interaction. Now you are not just another guy trying to impress her or get something from her. You are a man who is genuinely curious about her. That curiosity is a massive psychological pull factor. It makes her want to share more, speak more, and connect more because she finally feels like she has met a man who is on her level. You are acknowledging that her mind is a place worth visiting, and that kind of recognition stays with a woman far longer than any comment about her outfit ever could. The philosopher Simone Weil wrote that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. When you give her your attention and acknowledge her perspective, you are offering her a form of generosity that most men never provide. And that generosity is what opens the door to genuine connection. The fifth trigger is acknowledging her energy as transformative. In the world of high-value social dynamics, energy is the ultimate currency. We have all met people who feel like a dark cloud. They drain your battery and leave you feeling exhausted. But then there are those rare individuals who radiate a warmth and a drive that actually charges you up. When you tell a woman that her energy makes you want to level up, you are doing something far more sophisticated than just flirting. You are moving past simple attraction and entering the realm of deep masculine respect. You are effectively saying, your presence is not just pleasant, it is transformative. By acknowledging that she has a positive, motivating impact on your world, you signal that you are a man who is already on a path of growth and is observant enough to recognize a teammate in that journey. This hits home because it is a compliment to her spirit, not just her exterior. It tells her that she does not just look good in your life. She makes your life better. That kind of validation creates a magnetic pull because it makes her feel like an asset, not just a trophy. The philosopher Martin Heidegger wrote that human beings are characterized by their capacity to be present to themselves and to others. When you acknowledge her energy, you are acknowledging her presence in its most fundamental form. You are saying, I see you as a force in the world, and that is deeply powerful. The sixth trigger is acknowledging her thoughtfulness. We live in a fast-paced, me-first culture where most people are just waiting for their turn to speak or looking for what they can get out of a situation. Genuine thoughtfulness has become a modern superpower because it is so incredibly rare. When you point out her character and the specific effort she puts into the people and things around her, you are reaching her on a soul level. You are noticing the small things, the way she remembers a friend's birthday, the way she treats service staff, or the care she puts into her work. Most men are too self-absorbed to see these traits, but when you call them out, she instantly feels seen in a way that goes beyond the physical. This does not just make her smile. It builds a massive bridge of trust. It tells her that you are a man who values kindness and integrity, which makes her feel safe to open up even more. You are not just rewarding her looks, you are rewarding her heart, and that is a bond that is very hard to break. The philosopher Emmanuel Levinas, who wrote extensively on ethics and the face of the other, observed that the face of the other calls us to responsibility. When you see her thoughtfulness, you are seeing her face in its ethical dimension. You are recognizing her capacity for care, and that recognition is what calls her to trust you. The seventh trigger is acknowledging her drive and purpose. While the world is slowly changing, many women still feel that their professional ambitions or personal goals are secondary to their appearance in the eyes of men. Most guys are intimidated by a woman with a plan, or they simply do not care about her grind as long as she looks good on a date. When you break that mold and tell her that you admire her drive, you are separating yourself from the insecure majority. You are showing her that you value who she is becoming, not just who she is standing in front of you right now. By acknowledging her discipline, her late nights, and her vision for the future, you are building a foundation of mutual respect. You are telling her that you are a man who can handle a powerful woman, and more importantly, a man who finds purpose attractive. This creates a unique kind of intimacy because she realizes she does not have to dim her light to be with you. In fact, her light is exactly what drew you in. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, whose work explored the nature of becoming, wrote that the self is a relation that relates itself to itself. When you acknowledge her purpose, you are acknowledging herself in its becoming. You are saying, I see the person you are striving to become, and I am drawn to that striving. And that is deeply validating. The eighth trigger is acknowledging her ability to make people feel significant. This is the ultimate heavy hitter in your arsenal. Very few people in this world possess the emotional intelligence to make others feel truly safe, valued, and significant. It is a rare magnetic gift. When you recognize this ability in her, you are validating her highest self. You are looking past the surface, past the mind, and straight into her essence as a human being. This hits deeper than any physical comment ever could because it is a compliment to her humanity. It tells her that you are paying attention to how she moves through the world and how she touches the lives of others. When a woman realizes that you see the beauty in her kindness and her presence, her guard does not just drop, it disappears. You have moved from being a guy who is interested to being a man who truly understands her. That is the highest level of connection you can achieve. The philosopher Martin Buber, who wrote about the difference between I, it and I, thou relationships, observed that genuine connection happens when we encounter the other as a thou, not as an it. When you acknowledge her ability to make people feel significant, you are encountering her as a thou. You are seeing her not as an object to be admired, but as a presence to be honored, and that is what makes you unforgettable. There it is. 8 powerful psychological triggers that create more genuine connection in a few seconds than 1,000 "Hey beautiful" or "You are so hot" texts ever could. You have to understand that the game of attraction is not won by the man who talks the most. It is won by the man who speaks with the most intention. These sentences work because they are not about you trying to get something. They are about you giving her the gift of being truly understood. Always remember, a woman might forget exactly what you wore. She might forget the name of the restaurant where you ate, but she will never, ever forget how you made her feel in the moments you were together. To make this work, you have to be the man who can deliver these words. That means you need to speak with intention, slow down your delivery, and this is the most important part, actually mean what you say. If you are just reading a script, she will feel the lack of weight behind the words. But if you are present, grounded, and observant, these triggers will change your life. The philosopher Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. When you master your words, when you speak with intention and presence, you are mastering yourself. And that mastery is what makes you irresistible. Not because you have learned a trick, but because you have become the kind of man who naturally speaks with power and truth. If you are serious about mastering your masculine presence, building unshakable confidence, and becoming the type of man that women naturally gravitate toward, then you are in the right place. Hit subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss a lesson. I want to see who is really paying attention today. Drop the word "seen" in the comments right now if you are ready to stop being background noise and start speaking with purpose. I will see you in the next one.